Have you ever wondered what was going on between the ears of your crush? Ever wondered where things are going with the guy you're dating? Are you dissatisfied with your love life? Are you happily attached but still want to improve things? If so, you have come to the right place. I am proud to share with you that your search is over. You are now listening to
What Is He Thinking?
What is he thinking?
What is he thinking?
The Dating and Relationship Podcast for the benefit of women from the perspective of men. And now, without further ado, your host, Alexander B. Stevens.
Focus, promotion, placement, product, femininity, pricing. What's going on? This is Alexander B. Stevens. I am the host of your favorite podcast, What Is He Thinking? And this is the podcast where we talk about dating and relationships from the male perspective for the help and edification of women. And I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to what I have to say. Season 2, Episode 3, Episode 25 overall. Let's go. Before we get into it, I just want to let you know that this is part 2 of Why You Are Single. So if you have not listened to part 1, if you have not listened to the previous episode of the podcast, episode 2, 24 overall, I need you to stop right now, go back, check out that episode in its entirety, and then come back to this episode. Because you might not understand everything in this episode if you don't have the information from part 1. Another disclaimer, these reasons are not in any order of importance. Furthermore, 2, 3, or even 4 of them could apply to your situation and explain why you are single, or at least not in the type of long-term committed relationship that you really want to be in. Lastly, remember we are looking at this from an accountability, I control my own life, I'm the reason for my successes and failures mindset. We're not pointing the fingers, we're not blaming society, we're not blaming men, we're not blaming the culture, we're not blaming the media. We are looking at the woman in the mirror. Okay, let's get to it. Reason number 4 why you're single is because of your product. Your product meaning you. Are you the type of woman that the type of man you want wants? I know your dad says you're a princess. I know your mom says you're perfect the way you are. I know your friends say that any guy would be lucky to have you. I know the TV says you're perfect the way you are, girl. Don't change a thing. I know your pastor says sit back, wait, do nothing. You're a Psalms 31 woman as is. Eventually, your Boaz will come. And I know you look in the mirror and for self-esteem purposes say that you're a dime. But let's be honest, is everyone a dime? Are you perfect? Is everyone a queen and a princess? If everyone's a queen or a princess, that means no one is a queen or a princess. Are all those statements that you hear from outsiders completely honest? Or are they just trying to make you feel good because they want something from you or because they want you to like them? Are you the type of woman that the type of man you want wants? Are you the product that they desire? Or are you delusional about the quality and level of woman you are based on all these affirmations, half-truths, and comforting lies? So let's look at this reason number 4 from a more general global view. If you are a mid-tier product, you should expect mid-tier customers. And I'm going to give away reason number 5, which is pricing. You should have mid-tier expectations, aka pricing. But many women don't. A lot of women aren't good at self-evaluation and determining the level of woman they are, especially when it comes to what men actually want in the dating market. Women think that men want what women want when it comes to dating. So if they improve the qualities that they desire in a mate, that it means that men will desire them more and they are a better woman than the average Susie Q. And that's just not the case. In order for you to be better than the average woman, you have to be better in the things that men actually care about. If you want to know what men care about, especially when it comes to the early stages of dating, you can refer to the very first podcast that I ever released. But I talk about it multiple times during season 1. Now let's get a little bit more specific when it comes to this product thing. Like I said before, are you the type of woman that the type of man you wants? If the type of man you desire is a little nerdy and he's a well-read intellectual, are you the type of woman that complements and is compatible with that type of man or not? If you don't like books and you don't like thinking deeply or having deep discussions, then you're not the type of woman that the brainiac guy is gonna like or approach or take seriously. If you're a woman after a tall, athletic, very attractive man, you can't be 5'2", 250 pounds and hate sports and athletic endeavors. Those things don't mix. If you desire a very accomplished, intelligent, high-earning career man, then you being a go-getter, high-earning career woman might not be the best bet. Now, in my personal life, and maybe in some of the episodes previous to this one, you've heard some exceptions, but that's exactly what they are, exceptions. Most men that make enough money so that their woman does not have to work want a woman that puts them and or the family and household first, not her own career. They don't want a woman that's gone, busy, and as unavailable as they are because they're off doing their own thing with their own agenda, trying to climb the corporate ladder and indirectly compete with her man over who brings home more bacon than the other. No. Like I said in a season 1 episode entitled, Men Want a Complement, Not a Competitor. Men are looking for complementary traits from their woman, not a woman who's going to compete with them or who is good at what he's good at and bad at what he's bad at and does what he does and doesn't do what he doesn't do. That's redundant, and pairing up with an individual such as this makes for an unbalanced household and a suboptimal relationship. Now, before I move on, I don't want you to be confused. I gave one example where I said things wouldn't work out because you were too similar to your prospective guy. Then I gave another example where I said things wouldn't work out because you were too different from the guy. I'm not contradicting myself. The sweet spot is compatibility, being what he needs, being what he wants, fitting together like puzzle pieces, not being too different, and definitely not being a duplicate or a copy. Now, going along with product, I want to have a subset of reason number 4. We'll call it reason 4B, why you are single. And that is, you are single because your femininity is off. Your femininity is not at the level that the men you desire want. AKA, you are single and or not in the type of relationship that you want to be in because you act too masculine. If when there's a disagreement, you get loud and aggressive instead of classy and calm, you are masculine. If you care more about things and or money than you do about people and relationships, that leans toward you being masculine, toxically masculine, I might say. If you're not really in touch with your emotions or you live a stoic lifestyle, that leans toward the masculine as opposed to the feminine. If you're not nurturing or don't like kids or are not good with kids, that leans away from being feminine and towards something that men don't really want. When you are overwhelmed or backed into a corner, do you have a tendency to cry or explode in rage? Do you have bedroom discipline and you view bedroom activity as something special only to be shared with somebody that you care a lot about? Or is your nickname Doorknob? Do you drink, smoke, and cuss a lot? Or do you do these things in moderation or not at all? Do you have clear, clean, glowing, moisturized, sweet-smelling skin? Or is your skin dry, dull, scarred, and or covered in excessive tattoos and piercings? Do you only wear skirts or dresses at weddings and funerals? Or do you work it into your wardrobe a little bit more regularly? I could go on and on for another 10 minutes, but I think you get the point. The reason you are single, or maybe the reason why you can't get into a long-term serious relationship, is because you are lacking in the femininity department. We like women for how they are different than us, not necessarily how they're the same. Of course, we want some common interests, and we want to have common goals, and maybe even a common overall worldview. But when it comes to some of the details and minutiae of life, we want a complement, or sometimes even the opposite of us. We don't want the same. I know current day culture basically teaches against being traditionally feminine and teaches against gender roles and gender norms in general. But do you know what's also happened as those beliefs have become more prominent in our Western culture? Marriages have decreased, broken homes have increased, and divorces are way higher than they used to be. Do you think this is a coincidence? I don't. So if you think that you have the proper focus on finding love and you didn't prioritize other things above finding a potential lifelong mate, if you think that your promotion is good, if you think that your placement has been good, if you think you're a top 20% woman and your product is elite, therefore you deserve an elite man, but that isn't happening and you're still single or in meaningless situationships, then maybe the hang-up is your femininity. Yes, you're accomplished, you're smart, you're dynamic, you're strong, you go out to the right places, you give the proper focus and effort, you have good promotion and friends and a good reputation. But if you kind of act like one of the guys, then a guy's not going to really take you seriously for the long term. He'll have fun with you in the short term, but he'll never put a ring on it. Well, I guess you should never say never. There are 3 circumstances where you cannot be that feminine, but still find yourself with man. So let's go over them. If you are a masculine woman, in most cases, the type of man you're going to attract and the type of man that's going to want to be with you is one of 2 types of men. You will attract the underachieving mama's boy that is used to the woman running the show and wants to be taken care of by a woman and led by a woman. Or you will find yourself with the overly macho, toxically masculine man that will inevitably break your heart and or cheat on you and or abuse you. Because no matter the case and no matter the type of relationship, all relationships seek balance and they seek a yin and a yang, a masculine and a feminine. So if you're a masculine woman, you're going to be with a passive feminine man. And if you're not with a passive feminine man, then you got to be with a man who is so over the top masculine that he makes your part-time masculinity seem feminine, relatively speaking. Regardless of if you get with the passive feminine man or the overly macho man. At first, it'll seem cool and exciting or empowering or fun, but eventually you will get tired of either one of these extremes. The best thing to do would be for you to revitalize and rest in your natural femininity so you can get with a man that is more balanced. Third case scenario, which is the scenario that happens the least often in 2021, is typically the scenario that masculine women want to happen the most. And that's you end up with a quote unquote progressive or liberal leaning, laid back guy that is okay operating a relationship in the gray area between traditional and egalitarian. They're not hung up on roles or traditionalism, but at the same time, they understand that 100% modern egalitarianism doesn't really work when it comes to relationships either. So they are calm, cool, collected, and able to operate in the middle. Like I said before, most men don't qualify to be this type of man. And I know you're out here looking for a soulmate and you're just here thinking, I just need one. And I want one of those type of guys, especially if you're a masculine woman. But those men get taken off the market extremely quickly. So if you are already 30 and you haven't found one, you probably aren't going to. So that's reason 4B. You are single because you're not feminine or you're not feminine enough. Now, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Third, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Next, hey, you can even make money from your podcast with minimal listenership. I mean, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So this is what I want you to do. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The final reason why you are single and or you're not in the type of relationship that you want to be in is because of your pricing. Your pricing. You're not in the type of relationship that you want to be in because you have set your price too high for the customer. What you expect from the customer, what you expect the customer to give up for you, to sacrifice for you, is way too much relative to the type of product and the level of product that you are. Not to mention your in-store competition, the other products on the same aisle that you're on. So this pricing and product, these two kind of go hand in hand. Product is, are you the type of product that your desired customer wants? And or are you an average product, above average product, or an elite product? And then pricing is how much you expect your customer to sacrifice and or spend in order to take you off the shelf, or the minimum level of socioeconomic status and or looks and or charisma that you have set so that a customer can even gain the privilege of walking down the aisle that you're on, so he can even have an opportunity to deal with you. So keep this in mind. If your price is too high, nobody's gonna buy. If relative to the product your price is out of whack, a customer will try you out for 29 days, return you to the store, and put in the bin for the go-backs. How do you know your price is too high? Well, first you have to know how to evaluate yourself and your ranking relative to your competition on the market. And you have to evaluate the financial environment you're in and the financial situation of your desired male customer. So if you ignore all the nonsense, the half-truths and pandering, and truly self-evaluate and determine that you are an average woman, but you expect men to give you the sun, moon, and stars in order to go on a second date with you, you're going to have trouble in your love life. If you're having trouble self-evaluating unbiasedly, later on this year, probably in December, I'm going to try my hardest to release an episode where I try to help women evaluate themselves on the dating marketplace. Stay tuned for that. So your price can be too high if you expect too much out of men relative to the level of woman you are, relative to all the other single women out there. And also your price can be too high if you only give an opportunity to the top 10% man if you're not even a top 20% woman. Now, before I detail this, I know and understand that women are naturally hypergamous. Hypergamy meaning that in general, women only like to date those that they view as on their level, but preferably those that are above their level, so that the woman's station in life improves by being with this particular man. For example, this is part of the reason that in general, women like men that are older than them, because the longer you've been here on earth, generally the more time you've had to accomplish things, acquire things, gain knowledge, etc. 35 years of accomplishments and wisdom is better than her 29 years. So her being with him is a hypergamous upgrade, etc., etc. You guys should get the point. The only reason I bring that up is just to let it be known that once upon a time, a woman who was a 5 on a 0 to 10 scale was perfectly happy getting with a male that's a 6 on the 0 to 10 scale and would settle down and live happily ever after with that 6. Nowadays, especially since many women are inaccurate with their self-evaluations, this 5 woman will demand nothing less than an 8 out of 10 man. And when that man doesn't take her seriously or pay her any attention, she will just stay single until she expires. Because she's going to spend her life waiting on that 8 despite the fact that her 5 kind of turns into a 4, into a 3 after X amount of years and X amount of baggage. Or because she just refuses to settle and she can do bad by herself, or whatever all the other nonsense phrases are. Instead of having a good life with a 6 out of 10 man, having a family and doing what women of her grandmother's generation and all before have done, she stays single, tries to mask her loneliness with diving unhealthily headfirst into her career, going back to school for her 9th degree, girls' trips, and or acquiring an excessive amount of pets as a placebo so she can feel love and give love to a living being, because nurturing and loving is a need for most women that in previous generations would have been fulfilled by a husband and family. I said all that to say this. Another way you can think of a woman having too high of a price in order to have a successful romantic life is a woman that only will talk to a guy that's over 6'3" and makes over $100,000 and has a 6-pack and loves God more than he loves himself, while she is an average Annie or even an above average Angela. If the only men you will give a chance are top 1% men and you're not even a top 40% woman, then things are not going to work out. Your price is too high. You're not going to find the love of your life. You will never settle down and get married or common law married. You will either be ignored on the shelf, or the top 1% guy will rent you. The top 1% guy will pull you off the shelf temporarily, use you for a little bit, play with you, damage you a little bit, bring you back to the store, return you, so you can end up back on the shelf, and then the process repeats itself, especially if your price doesn't drop or the qualifications and standards that you put on the customers that can shop on your aisle don't become more reasonable. So there you have it, the top 5 reasons why you are single, the top 5 reasons why you're not in the long-term relationship that you really want to be in. Your focus is off. Either you have poor focus while dating, or you're not focused enough on dating and finding a serious mate. Your promotion is poor. Either you have a bad reputation, your friends don't hype you up, you don't present yourself well in person, or you don't present yourself well online. Your placement is off. You spend too much time at the house, or you go to places where the type of men you want to approach you don't go. You have poor placement. Number 4, your product is not up to par, or at least it is not what your desired customer wants. So you have to work on improving yourself relative to other women, or catering yourself, upgrading yourself, changing yourself so that you become the woman that the man you want wants. Reason 4B, you're having femininity issues, you're lacking in femininity, or you're a little bit too masculine. So you got to work on that. And the final reason why you're single, or why you're in a relationship that you don't really see ending in marriage, is because your price is too high, your price is out of whack with the environment, or the type of customers you allow an opportunity to buy are way too elite and exclusive for the type of product you are. So hopefully this podcast helped you understand why you're single and why you don't have the type of relationship that you want. And if it's one reason or all 5.5, 6 reasons, now you know, and now you can proactively take accountability, work on these things, adjust what you need to adjust, tweak what you need to tweak so that your outcomes are closer to what you've always dreamed of. Hold up. Before you go, the episode's not over yet. I have an announcement to make. Here's an opportunity for you, the What Is He Thinking fan, to earn a free gift from yours truly. This is all you have to do. Step 1, copy the link of your favorite What Is He Thinking podcast episode. Step 2, post it on your social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, any of the major 5. Step 3, with your post, write a 1-sentence reason why your followers should give that episode a listen. Step 4, tag me in your post. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Search for What Is He Thinking, and you will surely find me. Step 5, email me a screenshot of this social media post. Tell me your social media handle and give me your Cash App. And final step, make sure that this post stays live and active on your social media for at least 48 hours. This might require you posting it twice if you're doing it on a story. If you follow these steps and your social media is public so I can actually check on it and make sure that your post is actually staying live and available to be viewed for 48 continuous hours, then expect a pleasant surprise in your Cash App from yours truly. To qualify for this promotion and the free gift, you must be one of the first 10 listeners to follow these steps. You must follow all the steps completely. You must have a public social media so that I can check on it. And you must not be somebody that I already know in real life. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And let's get the word out.
Well, that wraps up this episode of the podcast. Alexander B. thanks you for taking time out of your day to listen to what he has to say. Hopefully, you feel the information shared today has helped you get one step closer to understanding men and one step closer to the type of relationship you have always dreamed of. If this episode spoke to you or you indeed felt that it was helpful, please share it with your friends and followers on social media and text the link to the episode to your inner circle of friends. If you have a future topic suggestion or need any clarification about anything that was shared during this episode, feel free to email the show at whatishethinking@gmail.com or follow and DM the show on Instagram at whatishethinking_podcast. Be clear and concise with your message, and Mr. Stevens will do his best to accommodate you. Once again, we appreciate you lending us a listening ear, and we hope your tomorrow is better than your yesterday. Enjoy the rest of your week. The podcast that is here to help you win with men. Signing off. Until we speak again.